Let's all bring it in. Let's all bring it in. If you need coffee or tea, there's some in the back. Make sure you've used the restroom because we're coming in for landing. Okay, in this very last segment of the day, we're going to get you out of here at 5 o'clock on time. At about 4:45, we're going to wind down with a beautiful 10-minute meditation breath work, just to wind you down so you can have a beautiful night. We're now entering the complicated part, okay? And I want you to bear with me because a lot of this is going to be hard to understand and digest. I think I can make it easy to understand. We're not going to be able to get through all the videos, so they're going to be there for you. And like I always like to use people that explain things the best. Carolyn Mace, great colleague of Joan there, one of her great colleagues that she's worked with for many years. I use Carolyn a lot because Carolyn can explain things the way Joan can. She can explain them in a way that you can understand them. So at first I explain it in Veronica language, then you're going to hear her explain it in her language. And again, we won't get through all of them. So I'm going to just start now. Now we're entering mysterious territory. Here we go. The energetics of illness, okay? All right. You've been hearing us talk about energy. You got to have good energy, right? Good energy. Yes, you do. Got to have good energy. Got to have good vibes. Got to think good thoughts so your energy's good and high. But there's a misnomer. Energy healing, right? There's one little problem. Energy alone does not heal the illness. I'll say that again. Energy alone does not heal the illness. Right? Energy is just the component, right? Like the mist up in the sky, and the mist comes down and turns into droplets of rain. It manifests into something physical. Energy is just energy. It has to physically come into the body and manifest into something. So tomorrow morning, we're going to talk about the 4 elements of healing using the 4 forces of the earth. But there's this little ingredient called grace. What is grace? What the heck is that? What does that mean to you? The word grace. Anybody? And this is not a religious conversation. I'm sorry? You're getting close. Say it again. A little more. Fluidness, yes. It comes down. And blends with the energy. It's like the sweetener on the coffee. Coffee's going to taste bitter. I like my little sweetener, just a little bit, right? It's getting closer. It's the belief in the higher power to come in and do the job. So you can do all the good energy, which is important when you're not feeling well or you're having an illness or you're suffering from a disease or you have something going on. You got to have the good energy. You got to have the good vibes, the good music, the good environment, the good mind. All that has to happen. That's like the operating room all set up and ready to go. But the actual thing that's going to heal it is grace. You need a grace. Remember the 4 things that were common among the people who healed themselves? What was the first one? Did anybody remember? The 4 pillars? A belief in a higher power. And I don't care what culture you come from. I don't care if you're Jewish, Christian, Buddhist, Hindu. I don't care. You have to believe in something that's going to come in and mix with the energy and do the healing. So this is the first step you got to get. You got to get this. Okay? All right. This video is a little rough to listen to because Carolyn can be a little rough. Okay? For those of you who read her books and know her audibles, she can be a little rough, but this is the truth. Listen up, 4 minutes. Oh, let's get that volume up on that. Guys?
about healing. I was absorbed in the mystery of it. Why people don't heal to why people do. So long before I even went near anybody, I spent years trying to figure out why we do not heal. In order to kind of figure out how come who heals and who does not heal. What is the difference here? What determines that difference? What is it exactly? And a great deal of it were the words, how we understood, how we saw ourselves. And I recognize that people spoke in terms of energy, and they did not understand that at some point, that when you use the language of energy, words, and you chose to speak, you only got the power of the vocabulary you used. This is really important to get what I'm telling you. You only get the power of the vocabulary you decide to use. So if you are working with energy medicine, that's all you're ever going to get. And there's no power in energy medicine at all. Not the kind you need. It's not until you recognize that what you really need is grace. And that you have to make the transition to grace. You need a more powerful word and all that goes with that word. That the word energy is never going to help you. There's nothing sacred about it. There's nothing holy about it. There's nothing about the word energy that will ever help heal you. Zero. Nothing. Nothing ever. That in order to heal a disease that is rapidly disintegrating your body, your mind, your being, you need a word that's connected to a legion of angels. You need a word that can get you to a high altitude, that for you is connected to the word faith. Energy does not connect you to the word faith. I'm sorry, but it doesn't. They don't have anything in common, not even a letter. Nothing, zero, nothing. Energy does not connect you to the word devotion. It doesn't connect you to the word belief. You don't require anything to use the word energy. A light bulb will often get you to it. But the word grace gives you hope. It implies that maybe, just maybe, probably, yes indeed, there's a force standing next to you from another realm that in fact has your best interests at heart and at soul. That there is such a thing as the realm of healing and the angels that go with that. And you would not be mistaken that.
Okay. Get it? You better figure out the grace. The grace is coming down. It's the belief and the faith in something higher, the divine intelligence, that will take care of the healing. Not faith in the medicine, not faith in the people that are trying to help. They all have a great purpose, right? We need physicians in our lives. We need physicians. They take care of us. We have to go to the doctor. Got to get your physical. Got to do your labs, right? Can't just go off the grid. Can't do that. You have to be able to take care of things. If things come up, you've got to deal with them. Conventional medicine, very important. But at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to heal is the grace, the belief in the higher power to come in and do it. Any questions? Space of grace. How do we get a space of grace? We can do it anywhere, but it does help if you can put yourself in a place that's just quiet and calming, just to help grace come in. Okay? It's very important to try to get yourself in a space of grace when you're trying to heal. 35 seconds. This is
Whatever circus you do with your body, with your breath, and with your mind, if there is no grace, there is no way. Because grace is not something that's available in a particular place, it's universal. But to make you receptive, to make a space receptive for that, is essential for most people. Not everybody is made like this, they can sit in the traffic jam and be blissed out. They need to be in a certain atmosphere, a certain energy ambience is needed for them, otherwise they cannot feel anything.
Get that? So a lot of you need a space that looks pretty and calm, right? Sit in the backyard. So not everybody can create grace in the middle of a crazy day. So grace, we need to go find a place that's quiet and calm and wonderful and serene, right? Go sit at the beach, go sit in the backyard, go sit at a park with a chair, something that creates grace. Any questions? Absolutely. Absolutely. Sure, sure. Joan, you talked about your song, the little Hebrew school camp song, right? Yeah. They sang that song. She created the grace right in the middle of just a bunch of kids. Okay? And so you can absolutely create it inside of a crazy environment. It helps if you can go get away by yourself, obviously, right? All right, obviously. Okay, here we go. You have to tackle illness with the belief that you can overcome it. The belief. The belief will bring in the grace. That you can get better one day at a time. That you will be well. You must will yourself to heal. Remember Marisa Peer, okay? The hypnotherapist that got in the car accident. We heard about her earlier. The Dick technique, right? She willed herself. She commanded the body, says, nope, you're getting fixed. You're going to get fixed, and it's going to be good. And you're going to do this, and we're going to walk. We're going to walk. It's going to be fine. I've had a lot of experiences over the years to be able to practice that when you're going in for a surgery, right? You visualize exactly how beautiful it's going to be when you wake up, right? I recently had a surgery. I walked right out. After I woke up from the anesthesia, got up, walked. No painkillers. You have to really get this. You got to get this, okay? So many people want somebody else to heal them. We all go to healers, right? Healers can help, absolutely. We're going to meet one of the greatest ones in the world tomorrow, right? Joan's an amazing healer here. Yes, they can give you some relief. But at the end of the day, if you don't believe it, you don't believe it can be healed, it just comes back and comes back and comes back and comes back. Why are some people in remission for 10 years from cancer and it comes back? They fell prey to the thinking again, right? The lack of faith, and it goes back to the old negative, anxiety-ridden thinking patterns. This is really hard for you guys to get. We've all had something in our lives that we've struggled with. Family members who are very ill. So it's really hard for you guys to get this. So this is the first big aha of the afternoon. The people that you've lost to cancer, to heart disease, all the things that have happened. These people were good, loving people. Everybody has a family member that they lost. But here's the trick. Just because you're a good person doesn't mean you have good thoughts. I want you to understand this. Everyone can think of someone, he was such a good man. She was such a kind lady. She helped everybody. How? How did this happen to her? Just because they're a good person doesn't mean they have good thoughts. Don't confuse the kindness of a person with what's going on in here and their self-talk, right? We've all had loved ones that fought terrible disease. They were good, kind, loving people, but their negative thoughts, their worry, and their anxiety ate up their body, ate it up. The body follows the law of cause and effect. just like everything else. This is really hard to swallow. Many of you have probably suffered from different things, right? But at the end of the day, that's how the body got sick. Bill. Bill, I'm so glad you asked that question. I was hoping someone this afternoon was going to ask that. How do you know the difference between, he said two things, that it's a karma, I'm supposed to get this disease, or it's my exit, it's time to go, right? Remember, I talked about last year, for those of you who are here, we all have a few exit points, right? The universe gives us 3 to 5. People argue about how many exit points you have. 3 or 5 times in your life when you can get out the door. Everyone's had a time in their life when they had a near miss. Do you guys remember? You're in the car and you're like, almost died, right? Or something where literally that was an exit point. You get chances to get out of here. Remember, you're in freshman year, like, I can't do this class. I just can't. I'll just have to come back. I'll take it on the next life. So you go, I'm out. I'm out. So that's, you have opportunities to exit out. But when it comes to the last train stop, there are no more train stops. So if your last train stop was supposed to be 78 years old, that's the last train stop. And we'll talk about changing that in a minute. Or if your last train stop was 80 years old, that's the last train stop. So as you age, we're getting closer. We got not very many stops left on the train route. So when you're getting toward the end, you're going to know, well, if I do develop something later in life that then leads me out the door, was that supposed to happen? Or could it have gone out the door a little better? Or could I have created a longevity beyond that? That's called the infinite field of possibility. We can change the date. That's what makes this universe so crazy. Your exit, the last train stop was 85 years old. You're supposed to be out at 85. But you've done all these practices, you can actually get the train stop to go to the next station. That's the quantum field, right? That's Einstein, right? Whatever you observe, you can change the field infinitely. Back to the Future, my son's favorite movie, right, Brittany? My beautiful daughter back there. My son who you met last year, one of his favorite movies is Back to the Future. How many times has Bradley played that movie for us at home? Hundreds of times. Loves Back to the Future. The original one. That's the quantum field, right? The professor goes back in time. They changed history. Guess what happens? You change the outcome. So it's so complicated because you're 80 years old. You develop something that then takes you out. So when the last train stop happens, a lot of people say, I'm done. I'm good. I'm going to go out on this train. I'm done. So the body then develops what it needs to do to exit out. Gets sicker and sicker and sicker and starts breaking down. And that person made that decision. This is my last stop. I really don't want to get I don't want to do a layover and go get onto another train. I really don't want to. I'm out. This was my last stop anyway. I'm out. So that's how we see that happening. And you don't know, only they knew if that was the last train stop. Isn't that interesting? Your parents, your siblings, your spouse, your children. Nobody knows the last train stop but that person. And then you've got the complication of, one of my classes was I was supposed to develop juvenile diabetes as a child. That was a kid who's 11 years old, right? Wow, this is one of my classes. So what am I going to do? Am I going to see if I can get that out of me? I'm young enough to do that. Or am I 85 and it may not be something I have it in me to get it out of me? So it's really complicated. You start getting in the quantum field now, quantum mechanics. Could that 80-year-old have changed the course? Yeah, if they wanted to. Going to take some work, but they could have. But if it was the last train stop and they know it in their heart, they're like, I'm out. I'm just not going to fight this disease. I'm just going to go for it and go into it. Yvonne. It is a contract, yeah. Infant death is a contract. I know. For those of you who weren't here last year, did you hear that question? What's the purpose of an infant death? Right? Stillborn or infant death. You know, that is purely contract, purely contract. Typically, when they got together to make their deal to come down and do this, typically it's a trade-off from something that the parent might have done. It's not a punishment, it's just a cause and effect, right? There's just a cause and effect, and it's a contract that the parent needed to learn a particular class, and so that's the route they chose to do it, okay? So you're starting getting into the field now, guys, right? You see how healing is very holographic? I know, Joan, you didn't get to talk about the holographic universe enough, but this is all, it's moving parts, right? It's moving parts. Back to the Future is just a great example of it. You touch something back here, and then Back to the Future 2 and Back to the Future 3. They touch something in 1885, and it affects something in 2005. Absolutely. Absolutely. We know that now, okay? So this is really important, okay? Don't judge this. Just understand it. Just understand it. We're going to get a little harder now. All right, let's start with Gabby on
If
healing.
you're uncomfortable and you've hit your knees, you're in the right place. And that doesn't mean you have to live there, but it means you have to move through that space so you can come out the other side and you can be greater, you can be brighter, you can be shinier, you can be happier, you can be healthier. We all have that strength and that power within us to have the faith to believe in healing for ourselves and for others. But we just need to take the time to tap into the presence within us that has the belief system that can hold that faith. And that is a practice, and that is a commitment, and that is a moment-to-moment decision in our mind that says, I choose to see that differently.
Moment by moment decision. So if you're getting all into trying to heal your thing, and then you give up, right? You've got to keep going. You know, healing physical ailments is easier said than done. You have to be committed completely. Pillar number 4 of the 4 pillars says you completely block everything out and work on it, right? That doesn't mean you don't go to work in the morning. It just means you work on it every single day, every single day, every single day. The more you work on it, just like any manifestation, the quicker it'll heal. And that forgiveness thing, really big deal. So if you got anything in the background that hasn't been forgiven, it's going to hold the healing from happening. Okay? All right. Now I want to get to another part of illness, which all of us have. Every single one of us has had or has an addiction, the nature of addiction. This is really important. We've all had one. We have to recognize it. We all might have one. It's caused by the same issue. When you understand the underlying issue, you can cure it. You can cure your addiction. It doesn't matter what it is or when it affected your life. There's one addiction, I believe in this room, that everybody has. Cell phones. Would you agree? You're addicted, right? Okay? You're addicted. So it's hard for you to turn it off and put it away for even an hour, huh? You have an addiction. It's no different than any other addiction. Look at all the addictions there are in the world. I've just named a few. Work, shopping, overspending, food, gambling, alcohol, drugs, addiction to the wrong kind of people, addiction to tech. These are all addictions. All addictions. Don't think one of them's different than the other. They're all the same. Vibrationally, they're all the same. We're going to talk about what causes it in just a second here. When I was a young girl in the entertainment industry as a film executive in the 80s, I had the worst work addiction you could imagine. Imagine. And when you're in an addiction, it takes over everything. I worked almost 365 days a year. Worked on Christmas, worked on New Year's, because I was like, oh, I have to work, right? It was in a pretty, the environment at that time was extremely toxic in the industry, but Christine, so you know that from those days, right? She was a film executive, same time as me. And it was a very Me Too, very toxic. You just had to keep working and working and working. And I'd work from 8 o'clock in the morning until about 1 o'clock in the morning. I'd go home and go to sleep and do it again, day after day. I was addicted. I think I could have gone home at midnight, don't you think? Or 10, right? But I was so addicted to work, I didn't see my family. I didn't see nothing. Everything, it just completely took over my life. Completely took over my life. I'm using this as an example. So addiction will find its way into the body, right? So I was maybe 27 years old, 27, I think. My dad died. It was January. Dad died. I had moved out of my home. I got a very aggressive form of cervical cancer, very aggressive. There's no cancer in my body. There's no cancer in my family, not on any side of my family, not for generations. There's no cancer in the DNA. There it was, really quick, very aggressive. I went into St. John's Hospital, Santa Monica, got the surgery, did all this. When you're addicted, the whole body just goes into a whack because you don't think about anything else, okay? So everyone has one. Figure out what you have and start understanding, where is this coming from? Why am I doing this? I was unhappy with my life. And so it was easier to just go to work than to have good, happy, healthy relationships. So that was my addiction. I finally broke it about 10 years later, but really tough. Some of you might have a shopping addiction. Food's a huge addiction, right? We eat to feel better, right? My husband knows that I'll go in and out of food addictions, like not bad food, but I go into my yogurt before bed, right, Anthony? Terrible. I'll do yogurt before bed, like for a month in a row, and there it is, showing up in my body, right? So everybody has little addictions. You've got to figure it out, and then I'll say, okay, enough, and then you stop, right? So you've got to get this. You've got to get this. So the reason, here we go, that you form an addiction of any of those addictions, every one of you can name one of them that you have. When you have an addiction, this is unbelievably profound, and you've heard it all morning in different ways. Sonia kept saying, you're not in your body. You're not in your body. She told me she was going to read the room today and see how, and then she'll go with what she thought. She read the room. She said, you guys are all mental. You are not in the body. Okay? That's what she read for the majority. Why? Because of the nature of the work you guys do. You're all tied into your clients. You're checking. You're dealing with your deals in the hallway, right? But she said she goes, everybody was mental. Nobody was in their body, so I had to get them in their body. She doesn't always do that dancing thing. She did that because you were all out of your body. She's like, oh my God, I got to get them in their body. So that's why she made you do the dance. She only does it if she sees a group that's totally mental. She had another group up north, same thing, all Silicon Valley tech guys. They were all mental, right? She had to put them back in their body. So here's the thing. When you have an addiction, you're operating in the self-pity of your past or the worry of your future. And this happens with illness. It's the same thing. And when this happens, you are in hell. Yep. You're operating, so here's your soul. It's popped out. It's all thinking about things that happened yesterday. I lost that listing. Something that happened to me in 1998. Somebody was mean to me in 2005. You're out there thinking about that, ruminating, I can never say that word right. Or you're worrying about the future. So soul's over here in the past, soul's over here worrying about the future. So when this happens, you're actually in hell. When the negative past or the fearful future is stronger than the present, ladies and gentlemen, the soul has left the building. The soul has left the building. Now we're going to get into the mystical nature of illness, okay? The soul has left the building. You're not in here. You're somewhere else. Freaking out about tomorrow. Pissed off about yesterday. I can't get present. I can't get into Kairos. Remember we talked about Kairos time? Kairos is fully present. So that means if the soul's left the body and is not present, then there's no one to protect the field. This is when dark forces could take over. Not evil forces, dark energies. What's a dark energy? I'm sorry? Bad thoughts coming off of you or somebody else or somebody you walked by in the store. Okay, we'll get into that in a second for atmospheric. You guys get this. Souls left the building. Now these energies can come in, okay? Hey, check it out. Dark energies are trolling. They're people's thoughts that just came off their heads. And they're trolling. They got to manifest into something because they're up here. Now they got to get into something and they'll say, hey, check that guy out. Soul left over there. Let's go party in his house. Dark energy comes in. Okay? And we'll explain a little bit more. We're going slowly here so you all get this. Everybody following me so far. The soul has left the body. Okay? You're worrying about yesterday and you're freaked out about tomorrow. Okay? You're not here. How do we get the body back into present right away? Easy. Gratitude. Gratitude will bring you right back in. right back in. I love my dog or cat. Oh my gosh. Whew, you'll come right back in the body. You'll hop right back in. Gratitude gets you back in really quick. All right, here's another 2-minute video. Tough. Please hang with me. Carolyn can be a little rough, but she teaches the truth. Here we go.
Happens in this level of consciousness is that the person becomes possessed, and I use the word possession. This is the only level where that word can be used. You can't use possession in any other one of these realms. Let's be clear. Hell. Hell. Because when someone is in hell, they are vacant, and their soul or psychic field is out of present time. And if I can draw this, let me draw this so you actually get an image. Not that my drawings are that much use, but if you actually, so that you know when you're dealing with an addict, whether a family member or whatever, here's your energy field. Remember how it should ideally look. When a person is possessed or empty, all of these circuits are routed out. They're routed out. And what they're replaced with is this field is filled fundamentally with psychic free radicals. Now you know those are the forces in your body that are the makings of disease, right? You know that, right? Okay. These psychic free radicals are from a person's past. They can be from the general atmosphere, because there's nothing here in the person's psyche that is capable of maintaining this energy field on his or her own. There's nobody there to protect the field.
I remember all the times I was vacant when I was a workaholic. I was always worrying about tomorrow, upset about yesterday. If you can't get out of that stop process that we talked about this morning, stop it, because it's jumping out, and there's nobody to protect the field. Your circuits are routed out of your aura. Okay, this is really, really important, okay? Okay, the difference between destiny and fate. Let me make sure I did that one first. Yeah, great. All right, this is another big one. When you don't manage your thoughts and you don't ask for grace, motivation, protection, strength, you succumb to the self-pity, and now you're in a negative state to attract negative energy. You're going to attract like energies. This is why it's critical to catch yourself during the day when you're doing it. Dark energies will incarnate into physical things, and if you're on a negative state, here they come. You're giving that electronic signature out. And when you're not managing your thought, fate comes in, destroys you and your body. When you're managing your thoughts and you're choosing new, hopeful thoughts to replace the old ones, replace the picture, choose a new thought, you now have the power to manifest your destiny. Don't be afraid to say a prayer, okay? A protection. Give me courage, give me strength, give me motivation today. I need it. Bring it in. Guides, angels, everybody, the whole crew can come in and help you out. The protection will be there, especially before you're going to meet a client that you think might be difficult, or you have an encounter with a client that you think you're going to have a problem with, family member, friend, situation. Ask for help, like Sonia said. Ask for help. Remember, they can't help you unless you ask for help. So whatever it is you believe in, doesn't matter. Remember last year we did our 7, 8 levels, right? You can ask for God the Creator. You can ask for your angels. You can ask for your spirit guides. But remember, they can't interfere with your life. So they're out here like this. They're watching you. They're like, not asking for help. All right, have it your way. And you're not asking. They will not come in unless you ask. Got it? It will not come in unless you ask. Always pull yourself back to present. Get rid of the past, get rid of the future, come back to present. Don't confuse this with manifesting the life of your dreams. When you're manifesting, you're in present. When you're picturing the life of your dreams or what you want in your life, you're in present moment. You're using Kairos power, okay? You know, those of you who have been working with me for years on manifesting, some of you are so fast, it comes so fast, it's days or a couple of months and it's in. It's amazing. Some of you are still practicing, so it's taking you a little bit longer, right? You guys got to get this. Don't confuse it, okay? When you're thinking about the beautiful future in the dream, that's not you're coming out of your body. You're fully present when you're doing that. Do you know why? Sonia said it. Your heart chakra lights up right here. All this is open. So when this is lit up with love and excitement for that beautiful dream, you are fully present. What brought presence? Remember what she said? Love. Love. When you're in love with the picture, you're fully present. Even if it's a 10-year plan, you're fully present. It's only when you get stuck in that past sadness and the pity of the past and thinking about all that stuff, that's when the soul starts going, oh, I'm out of here. See ya. I'm out. Control your mind and stay present. Use gratitude. It pulls you back in your body so fast. And all of your health lives in the present. All of the healing takes place in the present. Speed of light. Okay? Right here. Okay, this is 3 minutes. Now we're going to start talking about field of grace and hemorrhaging. Here we go.
You will. And when,
Christopher, bring
and
that
when,
up.
and here comes fate and destiny. When your system has energetics functioning in it that are, shall we say, carelessly collected because you are not managing your choices, then what's created in your life is not your you are incapable of making choices that are aligned with your destiny, and fate takes over. And how that feels like is you will say, I don't really care what happened. I don't really give a damn anymore. I just don't care. So you throw things to the fates. I don't really care. Doesn't matter to me. I'm exhausted. I don't care. Just do what you want. Will you just do what you want? Because lifting your own life into the higher altitude, saying, I'm sorry, but I am choosing, I don't know what's out there, but I'm not going that way. Destiny takes power. Destiny takes power because you're carving a path you have not walked before. Fate is a path that's already destroyed part of you. That's what happens when you're like, I've just had enough. I'm just, all right. Are you with me? All right. And so yesterday when I seemed to emphasize what you may have thought was silly, are you turning off your switches? Pay attention to when you're hemorrhaging. Everything has to do with you getting, power is my ingredient. This is my ingredient. If I am hemorrhaging power, I'm a sitting duck for power that's not mine coming into my system, unless I pray for a field of grace. We'll get to that later. Protect me from out. I am always praying to stay in a field of protection. And since the beginning, when people prayed for that, that's what they were praying for, protection from energetics that didn't belong to them. Okay? And why? Because this is one huge soul. All life breathes together. You are not separate from, as energetic beings, we are not separate from each other. That is the greatest illusion. We have little containers we fit in. And this is why understanding how this universe works personally, intimately, and impersonally is so vital.
Hemorrhaging energy. How does that happen? Remember, you hemorrhage energy, you're dead. You're gone when your life force finally leaves permanently. How do we hemorrhage energy out of us? Anybody? What kinds of things could hemorrhage us? Other people, right? Their negative behaviors. And we're talking to our clients every day. We're dealing with sometimes difficult clients, sometimes clients that are in fear, like Sonia said. Remember she talked about her realtor friend that wrote the terrible review, right? So you got to be really careful. She's asking for a field of grace. That's your white bubble, right? Put that field on in the morning, just like that, white bubble. So when you're dealing with your difficult client, they can't penetrate into your field, okay? Because if they penetrate into your field, now you've just absorbed an energetic that doesn't belong to you, okay? Now, as we're getting these people's thoughts and our own, we got to watch out for us, because a lot of times we're the garbage dump, right? We're dumping stuff into our field. Yes, Yvonne? That's correct. Yeah, it's usually family or friends or sometimes clients. Here's what you maybe didn't hear this word she was talking about. I'll get it on the next slide. Psychic free radical. That's garbage coming off of somebody else's head. Garbage coming off of somebody you walked by. Garbage coming off of you. Psychic free radicals are nonsense thoughts. So we have 60,000 thoughts a day. And people have a lot of bad ones during the day. They dump out of the brain into the atmosphere. So you're collecting them. I'll give you an analogy in just a minute. I'll get to that slide. So hold that thought, okay? So the more you're getting this stuff in you, the denser your body is becoming. The denser your body, the more illness is going to be in it. The lighter your body, the less illness. Remember I said light heals? Light heals. Light heals. That's what heals. And we call that grace, call it whatever you want. Light heals. Okay? So the more junk is getting thrown into our field, the thicker and denser we are. The denser we are, the more you're going to be susceptible to getting sick. Okay? The more divine light you take in, lighter you feel. Healthier you are. Everything for your health is a relationship between dense and light matter. Dense and light. Light heals everything. Light's your power. Negative thoughts and remorse and self-pity are very hard on the body. They drain and bleed it out. So you got yourself draining yourself out. You got people that you're dealing with draining you out. So at least if you put the field around you, the outside ones can't get in. So if you're draining, guess who's doing it? You. Okay? You. So you always look at yourself first. Okay? This is super, super, super important that everybody gets this. You have to fuel your tank up. So you have to have full tank of light energy every day. And when you do that, all those beautiful synchronicities come in. The spirit can talk. It knows what's going on. Everything just works every day. Every day. You've had days where it was perfect, right? You went through the day and just every single thing nailed it, nailed it, nailed it, nailed it. Okay? You had a lot of light going that day. You cleaned all the dense energy out. Okay? I want to use an example. In Los Angeles, I drive to our Sherman Oaks office from Burbank, and I go down a street called Moore Park, and I don't know why, but every time I'm on Moore Park, there's the guys with the blowers. You know the guys, the gardeners? My gardener does the same thing. They're doing the blowing, right? And your car's driving by, brand new washed car, and the stuff is just coming. That's psychic free radicals. It's a debris field coming in. And if you don't put that protection around, the debris field comes in. And now you're filled with the debris field. Okay? And you wake up and you go, gosh, I'm so depressed today. What is going on? Everything's fine. Why am I depressed? Psychic free radicals. Psychic free radicals. You're not putting the bubble around you. You got to put that bubble around you. And when you ask for grace, it does it automatically, right? I need grace. Here comes the bubble. You're all good. So they can't poke inside your field. A lot of people call that field the aura, right? That's fine, whatever you want to call it. But it's your energetic field that goes around your body. You can't let people throw garbage in there with the leaf blower. You got to be really careful. That's what's causing depression. I feel yucky today. Why did I feel so bad? I walked away from that person and because they were blowing debris into your field. They were blowing debris into your field. Everybody get this? But let's not forget who blows the most debris. Us. We're going like this with the blower. blowing all the debris into my own field with my own thoughts. So always look to yourself first. Always look to yourself first. Got it? Okay. Everybody with me so far? Hopefully I haven't lost anybody. I know this is complicated, but if you get this, you'll never be sick again. You won't. You'll get a cold or a flu, but that's just immune system, right? Right? If you suffer from a cold or a flu, that's just because your immune system's down and you've got debris that got thrown into your field by clients or something, and now you kind of are susceptible. But if you're fully light, you can't get sick. You can't get sick. All right, here we go. Bio-spiritual ecology. Yeah, we have a whole biodome going on here. You got to get this. We have a biodome. All right, listen up.
Pythagoras. I get to Aristotle or Plato. Get out of...
Hold on, guys. What happened there? Team? There we go. Let's try that one again.
Pythagoras.
There we go. Thanks.
I get to Aristotle or Plato. Get out of religion. Religion is politics. Connect that dot, especially fundamentalism. Garbage. When you get to the actual mystical jewels of each one, like I did in Anatomy of the Spirit, you see that the chakra system and the tree of life and the 7 levels of the musical scale, the 7 levels of the 7 mansions of the soul, I can just keep doing this now. That we are designed, we are one repetitive design. We are one, we continue to repeat the design of nature. That's all we do. Nature's not complicated. We continue to, it's almost like hiding in plain sight. The messages are in plain sight. Only some holy system could make it so beautiful and make it so repetitive. It is just the constancy of, and that this, our physical world is a system of 7, and then the meta world, the world of the impersonal, where nothing is designed for you. You have to figure out how to fit into the meta world. If you take this world personally, you can't get in. You won't get it. Which is why I'm convinced the whole journey of life is about dealing with the pain and disappointment that comes with trying to use your power to manipulate others, to destroy your own life, destroy your own body. Using this beautiful light in a destructive way, the love of power. What can it get for me? You're here so briefly, come on, what can it do? I'm jealous of that person, wasting your time on resentment, wasting your time on being bitter, wasting your precious life force on, I think I'll just, wasting your time, wasting your life, wasting it. Versus, I have but a precious few decades to channel this light and make a difference in this world. I have but a precious few decades to show what this light can do for this world. And all I'm doing is bitching about what happened in my childhood. Are you nuts? Get the proportions straight. What you can do. What you can do.
Okay? So use the light well. Don't use it to go hurt anybody or be in competition with somebody else, right? Feeling bad is placing your attention on whatever is causing discord in your body or mind. You're separating yourself. When you feel bad, there's always a blockage. There's always a blockage. And then when you're feeling bad, guess what? You're siphoning your own tank. There you go. So don't blame other people. You're siphoning your own gas tank when you're feeling bad. That's why you got to stop yourself when it happens during the day. Stop, stop, stop. Tell yourself to just stop. You're hemorrhaging out the light. That's your gasoline. You're bleeding out energy out of your biospiritual atmosphere. And if you keep your attention on the beautiful things that you want to happen, not on what you don't want, the more you do this, the better you get at it, right? The better you get at it, the faster it comes. Thoughts are the mind, and those thoughts become emotions in the body. Good emotions, healthy body. Bad emotions, unhealthy body. You know, I don't want to embarrass Cindy Hill, but I'm going to. Hi, Cindy Hill. Cindy Hill's probably one of the fastest manifestors I've ever met in my life. Lightning. She can manifest something, it shows up tomorrow morning. Because she's been practicing for how many years? 30? Yeah, 30 years. She literally will move the mountain with her mind. She's that good. There's others of you, I won't mention your names and embarrass you. I know a lot of you don't like to be embarrassed, that do very well with it. And then there's others of you that are doing it, it's not happening. It's not happening because you're not getting into the heart. You're not opening up, fall in love, and connect. You're freaking out about the future or you're pissed off about the past. You cannot manifest back in these places. You have to be present. So this is really important. You know, my family and I, we work on manifesting projects all the time, right? We work as a family. We work on manifesting things for my husband, myself, my children, their boyfriend and girlfriend. We do everything, and it comes fast, really fast. We recently worked on a really big project as a family. There were 4 things we had going on. They're coming back. They're coming so fast, it makes my head spin because we're all working on it as a family, right? Husbands and wives can work on things together. You can work on things with your kids if you have children. You've got to get this. You've got to get this. Okay, before I go, this is, I think, almost my last one here with her. Now, we're going to go to the next part of bio-spiritual ecology.
I have to start with what I realized was, as I was doing readings, what I realized was how incredibly powerful we are. And that the power that these great mystics and teachers came to teach was actually the truth. Was actually the truth. When Jesus said, you can do exactly what I'm doing if you get it. If you get it. But you just don't get it. But if you got it, you could do this. You could heal. You could command. Heaven would come to you as soon as you said, would you help me heal this person? In heaven's name, I heal you. It's got nothing to do with me. Everything. But you have to understand how to get out of your way. That this is not your world. And that the events that happen in this world are not geared to destroy you, though they may hurt. Though they may hurt. Though they may just be so destructive in your heart, they're not personal. They are as they must be. And they are the result so often of choices we make. If you overspend, you will destroy yourself financially. That is the consequence of your choices. That isn't a God hurting you. That's the law of cause and effect and action and reaction. And the law of stupidity. Heaven does not compensate for stupidity. Ever. Or for jealousy. Or for bitterness. If you decide to sit on your tuchus and blame life and be bitter and decide, I'm not playing. That's it. I'm not playing. I'm happy with what's happened to me. I'm just unhappy. And therefore, I'm going to punish everybody who comes down the road. That's your choice. But don't expect heaven to come there and say, we've sent you therapists. This is when heaven backs off and says, you want to do that. It's up to you. I promise you, heaven will not send anything. But they say, oh, what a stupid choice. But this is your angel will sit there and say, Jesus Christ, what a stupid choice. Honest to God, what a stupid choice. Because you just don't get it. And every single human being can be crushed by what they've been through in some way, shape, or form. Everyone. If I had said to you, okay, for the next hour, compete with each other. Some of you I've already heard have had such brutal things, such sad things. And yet life
Life just keeps on. We can't, you're going to pitch your tent at the wayside and said, that's it, I've had enough, I'm going to stop right here. Do you think that's a better choice? It's not a better choice. It's never going to be a better choice. It'll never, ever be a better choice.
It's called giving up, right? Okay, spiritual indigestion. How does heaven or the universe, or whatever the heck you want to call it, it's your word, work with your life force? This is super important to understand. When you're hemorrhaging energy, either from yourself or someone else, it means that your thoughts are in the bad place. So now you're already hemorrhaging, your thoughts are in the bad place, and everybody around you is going to continue to say, oh, look at that guy's already hemorrhaging. Let's go plug a siphon in, right? That's what's going to happen. You're already hemorrhaging because of yourself, and now everybody else is plugging in to siphon some gas off. People's negative thoughts are going to come in. Again, that shield is really important. Negative thoughts are attracted to you if you don't shield yourself. It's really important. When your light is dim, you have very little energy or enthusiasm. Everyone's been there, right? We've all been there. We're just like, I just don't feel like it anymore. It's been so hard of a year. I just can't. You're siphoned out. You're siphoned out. You've got to bring that nuclear power plant back online. This is really important. Remember, you can take it back online very quickly. And I talked about the psychic free radicals. We got to clean every day. We've talked about that. We have that spiritual shower in my book, and we talked about it last year, and we're going to talk about it again tomorrow. You got to clean this thing. If there's debris all over the field, you need to do a spiritual shower. I didn't coin that phrase. Tony Robbins did. But you have to take a spiritual shower, and you got to clean it. We're going to talk about using 4 elements tomorrow. You have to manage everybody else's garbage that comes off their minds and your garbage. And if you ever felt depressed, this is why. Okay? It's really, really important that you get this. Don't put the leaf blower on yourself and then have the leaf blower from everywhere else. You've got all kinds of craziness going on. Body's going to start disintegrating quickly. Quickly. Now, I want to address back to a question that Bill asked. I'm going to bring it back around. You know, we talked about the class where you got to get sick. It's one of your courses, you know. Have a heart attack. Get cancer. And you're like, okay, I can get rid of this. It's going to be okay. And the only person that can really do it is the person themselves, right? With their guides. Other people can help. They can help pray for you. They can help heal you. But at the end of the day, it's you. But what if heaven says no? Sorry. You took this class 5 times already. I'm sorry. This is your last chance to take this class. I cannot heal this. That's the karma we talked about, right? Sometimes heaven says, sorry, man. Can't do it. Can't do it. And you see people that die with beautiful, 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 beautiful grace. Like our colleague here in the desert. What a beautiful, beautiful way. The minute she knew she had it, stage 4, immediately she said, all right. Her husband went 2 weeks before. She said, all right, my train. It's my last stop. I'm good. I'm out. She got all her affairs in order. Beautiful. Got it all perfect. Got her baggage. Says, I'm out. So sometimes heaven says, no, not fixing it. It's either your last train stop or you didn't take this class. I'm sorry, you got to take this class. That doesn't mean you're not going to heal. It just means sometimes heaven says no. So you're going to suffer and struggle through it, and you have to do this with grace. You have to do this with grace. That's the part people have a really hard time with. Okay? But if you didn't do everything you could, mentally, right? Everything you could, don't give up on it. Most people get worse because of this. They're getting freaked by the disease. They're getting all freaked out, and all they're thinking about is, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. Oh my gosh, I'm going to die. I don't want to do chemo. I don't want to do the surgery. And you've got to stop it. You're going to be like, I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to deal with it. I'll do my surgery. I'll do my chemo. It's going to be good. I'm going to be all cleaned up. You've got to go into it with 100%, I'm going to beat this. But what people do, they do the opposite. They get all into the disease. They read hundreds of books about the disease. They're getting so into it. Guess what's happening? You're manifesting the disease more, right? So you got to be careful with that. You've got to be careful with that. If you want it gone, you better be 100% clear that it's going to be gone. Oh, no, but it might not be gone. Oh, what happens if this doesn't work? Oh, what happens if the surgery doesn't get it all? Oh, you just blew it. You just blew it. What did you just put into the field? Doubt. What did we say has to be important? Belief. Complete faith and belief that it's going to happen. And then working on it and visualizing yourself free of it. Visualizing yourself on the other side of it, right? I really want you to get this, because if you don't, you're going to be in victim. You're going to be in victim. You've got to get this. Got to get this. You can take care of anything. You may not be able to get it 100%, but you could get it 90%. And then if you don't, and heaven says sorry, then you have to go and be beautiful and elegant and go out with complete grace. And when you go out with grace, you're good. And you took care of that class. Done. Don't have to take that class again. All right? Does everybody get this? All right. Any questions? How am I doing on time, guys, in the back? 4:12. Okay. We're on time. Great. All right. Here's the next part.
I need to make a couple of points. I'm not sure they're going to be in coherent order because it's now like teaching in a hologram, and I'll do my best to tie it together. In this physical world, the challenges we have are resolved in the physical world with physical things, with physicalnesses. That's a new word. With chemicals, with earth logic, not mystical resolution, with earth logic. And you're accustomed to that, okay? So if you have a problem here, what did I mean by that? If you have a problem here, then you go to, if I need a screwdriver to open this window, I need a screwdriver. I can't go zzz and it'll open, right? Okay, so this is kind of that world. The mystical world, the world of light, law, and love, is a different domain. It's a different domain entirely. This is the domain where creation begins. So this is the caboose on the train, and this is more like the engine. This is more like the beginning of the playground. This is more where substance begins. And I like to think of it like the way it is misty, and mist has all kinds of possibilities. And then mist becomes rain, and rain becomes ice and solidifies. But it's all the same substance. But when it's mist, when it's really just sweet air, you can't see it. And yet it's as real as the ice you can hold in your hand. It is subject to the same laws of science. It is as real, and it is full of the same molecules. It's just that those molecules have not solidified. And this is how I want you to understand light. That light is filled with the molecules that will eventually form and solidify into the physical choices you make. These are your creative molecules. Light is the life force, the substance of creation. And how I really got this was in doing readings. I was tracking where, yesterday I was talking to you, where you hemorrhage your power. So light is also your power. And you just don't think much of it, but you should think only about it. That's all you should think about. Is that every single thing you do, everything you say, everything you think, every word you have in your vocabulary is in fact a calculation of power that will cost you. A negative word up here is very expensive. Very expensive. You have no idea. If you have a word in there that causes you to see the world like anything that activates self-pity, you may as well take a knife and go in your energy system. Because you are...
Please be cognizant so you don't hemorrhage, okay? You have to be aware every day of the collective energy around you, the room, the scene, okay? You don't want to be subject to atmospheric depression, okay? Atmospheric depression. Talk about this in coaching with you guys for many years. We're in a very, very close proximity with our clients, the buyers, with the sellers, with the clients, with the escrow, with lending, with all these different components. You have to stay in that field of grace all the time. When I suit up in the morning, I put that thing around me, and so no matter what I'm doing, nothing can get in. That doesn't mean you don't love your clients. That doesn't mean you don't help your clients. That doesn't mean you don't have empathy, but they're not getting in. The negative side's not getting in.
When you are running low, like any system of energy, people will, energetic systems, I want you to just be neutral here. I want you to be impersonal. Empty systems will look for fillers. Are you with me? You'll just look for fillers. And psychic free radicals, all these loose thoughts, what is the law of energy? Energy becomes matter. Matter goes back to energy. It's the law. So all these energetic free radicals are always trying to find systems through which they can incarnate into stuff. They'll come out through choices. So now, Janice is running low. Lauren's running low. These psychic free radicals operate on what? The law of magnetic attraction. You're running low, they're running low. What vibrational field are they? Negative to negative. Lead to lead. The lead comes in and it just pours in. You sitting at yourself, sitting at a desk, like, God, I feel so I'm so depressed. But it's not really your depression, is it? It's collective atmospheric depression. In fact, you're in a spiritual crisis. You're in an atmospheric cosmic depression. You're not even in a personal one anymore. But who recognizes that?
Nobody, right? And now that you know, you will recognize it. All right? So discipline the mind, the body will follow. Stay in that kairos. Get in that kairos. That's why I have you do your little morning rituals, right? Get in kairos. When the speed of light, stuff happens at the speed of light. The money I want to make, the projects I want to complete, the healing I need, happens at the speed of light when you're in the present moment. Please understand. Now I'm going to show you some pictures of light. The most common color that heals the body is gold. We talked about that last year. Gold light is the most common one that heals the body. White, blue is more like calming the mind, but gold is the one that heals the body. Okay? So radiate the gold, you can shrink the tumor, you can get it down to nothing. Gold light is best for illness. Okay? All right, here we go. We're almost done here.
Why? Maybe they grab their phone and scroll to distract themselves or reach for coffee to kickstart the system. But what they're really doing is trying to override the emotional residue of yesterday. Because yesterday's stress wasn't resolved. It was memorized. Every emotion you feel is a chemical signature released throughout your body. When you feel anxious, you send out a cascade of stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, norepinephrine. If you repeat that cycle often enough, your cells adapt to that internal chemistry. They begin to crave it. They become conditioned to it, And then even when your outer world is calm, your inner world continues the chaos. This is why people who suffer from chronic anxiety often say, I don't know why I feel this way. And they're telling the truth. The thought that originally created the anxiety may be long gone. But the body hasn't let it go. It's like the software of the subconscious mind is still running in the background, even though the conscious mind isn't aware of it anymore. Over time, the body gets better at being anxious than the mind does at thinking anxious thoughts when anxiety no longer feels optional. It feels automatic. You're not thinking your way into stress. You're being triggered by the emotional patterns your body now expects. In this state, the body is literally ahead of the mind. Imagine the brain and the body are in a relationship. The brain sends out signals and the body responds with feelings. Then those feelings are sensed by the brain, which creates more thoughts that match those feelings. It becomes a feedback loop. If the thought is fearful, the emotion is anxious. That anxious emotion then triggers more fearful thoughts, and the cycle continues. After enough repetition, it becomes automatic, unconscious. You don't even need a thought anymore. You just are anxious. That's the danger of letting the body become the mind. It starts running the show. But here's the powerful truth. You weren't born like this. You weren't born rehearsing worst case scenarios. You weren't born anticipating danger around every corner. That was learned. It was absorbed from repeated experiences, emotional trauma, or simply the survival habits modeled by people around you. And if it was learned, it can be unlearned. The first step is awareness. You must become conscious of the unconscious. You need to catch the body in the act. Notice when it's generating anxiety without a real trigger. This is not about blaming yourself. It's about waking up from the dream you've been living in. You begin to feel the tension in your chest not as me, but as a program, a memorized response. And when you see it for what it is, you're no longer inside it, you're observing it. In that moment of observation, a window opens. You have the opportunity to do something different. You can take a breath instead of following the panic. You can stay still instead of reacting. The instant you interrupt the pattern, you begin to reclaim the role of the thinker, the creator, the consciousness behind the mind and body. This is where real change begins.
Okay, this is so important. We did the 3 circles at the beginning of the morning. Body, mind, spirit. Can't let the body run the show. The body's the dog, right? The body, if you think the body's doing it to you, the body's running the show. He was just talking about the feedback loop, right? Very, very, very important. Your body gets conditioned if you're doing fearful thoughts every day and you're worrying and anxious. Now the body's conditioned to it. It doesn't even need the mind anymore. It went rogue. The body just went rogue. It doesn't even need the mind anymore. It's got patterns that it's just going to go with it. Do you guys get this? The body just took off on its own, went off the leash. That's when the illness comes in. The body just took off because the patterns haven't been broken. That's why we say stop. Stop. Stop when you're freaking out in the middle of the day, or someone got you really upset, or a client said something mean to you. Okay? You've got to stop it, because what's happening now is the body goes, oh, there's my cue. I'm going to take off. I broke the leash. I'm running across the street. And the body's running down the street, just like the ego. The body and the ego, they're cohorts, right? They're cohorts. They both need to be tamed. It's really important that you get this, because when you break the loop, and you say stop, the body just froze. And I'm going to reprogram the mind to think something better. I'm going to think something better. Okay, now we get the body back in our arms, and we're okay. Does everybody get this loop? It's really important that you get this, right? Light is the new black. We all know that. The more light you can reveal, the more power you have. The power to manifest anything. The power to heal your body, and the power to enjoy synchronicities, right? Things that just happen for a reason. We all have synchronicities. The stronger you get, synchronicities show up. The person calls that you were meaning to call. You were supposed to call that client. You haven't been wanting to call him, and he calls you, right? That's a synchronicity. So they'll start showing up in your life, so everything just comes in front of you. But you've got to understand the body can't run the show. The mind has to leash the dog on a leash, take a nice walk, and then the soul will do its job. The soul's going to heal with the light, but the mind has to get the body back on a leash, or the body's going to go running all over the place. Any questions? How do you upgrade your dense body to a light body? It's really easy. Once you get a light body, you got lots and lots of light, not too much matter, you'll really feel good. Your life will be so simple. You will no longer come from competition. You care less about what everybody else is doing or what their rewards are, how much GCI they make. You only care about you. You're in your own competition with yourself. You lose your desire to compete with other people. You believe there's enough for everyone. You always let the other person go first. You always let the other person win. Let the other person have more. It's okay. You're only in competition with yourself. When you get out of that loop, you really start to get a lot of light. The more light in your body, the healthier you are. The more light in the body, less medication. Don't need medication when you have light in your body. The more light in your body, the faster your cells will regenerate every day and more beautifully. The more light in your body, the younger and more vibrant you look and feel. This right here? I was on the slide before that. When you're trying to get more light, okay, we want to get rid of the density, we want light. In order to reveal light, you have to be happy. You have to let the other person win. You have to get out of your competition zone. Competition zone is going to kill you. It's really going to cause problems. It'll show up later, like the work we do now shows up in the next quarter. So you want to get out of that. You want to be okay. Just be competitive with yourself. Do your personal best. Great. If you win an award, great. If you don't, it's okay. You got to be happy. But the more light you have, the body cannot get sick because it's filled with light. It's filled with light. It doesn't have matter anymore. And if you see a lot of gurus, they are filled with light. Like you'll see their skin glows because their skin's so thin because the light's coming off of them so much. The more light you have, the stronger you are. You can go through anything. Now, here's what Carolyn says about that.
I'm taking you there into yourselves at the speed you got to go because you got to get it. You got to get it. You don't get the goodies without getting it. You have got to get how you hemorrhage. You got to get that hemorrhaging costs you. But here's what I got. And that's that every time I would do a calculation and figure out how fast you're losing power and why, it had a consequence on the, what I would call, density of your body. The density, that there was a direct correlation between how dense your psychic field was. A relationship between actual matter and light. And that's all I could say to myself. There was a relationship between the matter and the light. And the way I now would explain it to you is what I, and. I then added the laws of the universe, synchronicity, action and reaction, coincidence, the use of energy medicine. And what I began, it took me years to get this, what I began to realize is that the more you are hemorrhaging, the less effective any energy medicine will ever be on you. You require all the chemical medicine and all the chemical assistance you can have. Visualization will have minimal effect. Any skills from the energetic world, any Kairos skills, as much as you can utilize them, I think I'll do visual, you will be distracted and it won't work. You can't be a meditator because your mind will just float. You can't keep attention. You will be distracted by the slightest sound in the room, if you can keep your attention at all from falling asleep. Because you're so dense. You have so much density in you. You just, everything puts you to sleep. For you, synchronicity rarely happens. Because for you, When someone gives you an idea or you have a thought is a magnetic life thing. A thought is alive. Down here, no one, if you're on the first floor, you don't comprehend that. Because for you, what's alive is something you have to see. A human body, a goldfish. It's impossible for someone on the first floor who's a five-sensory creature to comprehend that a thought form is more powerful.
We all have met people that are dense. I'm going to give you an example of a dense person. A dense person is someone who literally has no awareness of anybody else. No awareness. You ever seen that funny commercial that's been on about Mattress Firm? I don't know if it's commercials that have been running a lot. Person does something really stupid and they say, how do you live with yourself? A dense person is not aware of anything or anyone. So their light is really dim. And this is how I like to use the analogy. Your soul is so bright and golden, it's ridiculous. It's so bright, right? It would blind you if you look at it. But when you're thinking negative thoughts and you don't care about others, remember the vibratory scale? You're way down here. You could care less about your neighbors. You could care less about your coworkers. You could care less about your clients. Everything's me, me, me. Narcissist. It's like caked on mud on a beautiful globe, beautiful, beautiful snow globe, giant, beautiful snow globe, so bright. But there's caked on mud all over it. So you can't even see the light of the snow globe. That's dense. That's what your soul looks like when you've got all this crusted junk that you have to clean off. So what do we got to do? Rinse it and crack it and make it beautiful, and then boom, the snow globe's lit up again. That's what we're going to learn about tomorrow. But I want to give you some samples because we're at the end here. We're going to go into a beautiful meditation to close out today. I want to give you some ideas about the light. See the bubble thing in the middle? It's real simple. It's just a simple bubble. You walk in the bubble all day, you're good to go, okay? There on the right side of the screen, that's where healing comes in, okay? From the top, Carolyn said everything is in sevens, right? You guys know that. 7 chakras, the 7 musical scales, the 7 everything. 7 is a very important number. So right here, 7th, all the light comes in from here. That's how, and then it goes through your body. Okay, so I wanted you to get the concept of that. Okay, notice that bright light in the middle over here on the left, right? That's your heart. So that's your heart. Very, very bright. Sonia was talking about that. Okay, picture right here on the right. See, that's what it looks like when you're radiating light. You bring it in and you blast it like a Marvel movie. See that? Blast it. That's how you literally radiate out the tumor, literally. But it's easier said than done. It doesn't take 5 seconds. It can take a half an hour every day for a month to get rid of the tumor. But you radiate it, okay? The bottom shows you the color of the gold. I'm trying to get your mind to understand. I'm using different pictures so you get a concept of this, okay? All right, and you see the field here on the bottom left? That's the field. That's your atmosphere. We talk about debris, it gets in there. When the debris comes in the field, makes its way into the body. Okay? We got to clean that debris field out. Don't let your life force dim. Otherwise, the disease and the illness and the addiction will set in. You got to power up your fuel tank every day. Try not to drain it from other people unless they're okay with giving it to you. Okay? Don't be an energy light vampire. Create your own life force, and you will rarely be sick, ever. Saying words of intention, good feelings. Do this. This is really important. Be in nature. Easy way to power up, right? Be in nature. Go take a walk. You'll fuel up real quick. Real quick. All right? Stop trying to siphon off of other people. So fuel yourself up. It's just like the electric car. Plug into nature. Plug into a workout. Plug into listening to some nice music. Plug into meditating. Plug into just feeling grateful. Plug into a funny show that's cute and fun and lighthearted. All that will power you up, okay? Gold is best for refueling the body and healing. Purple, white are best for calming the mind. Whatever color vibes for you, though, I want you to pick what vibes for you. You might like pink or green. That's okay. A lot of people will go in the sun for 30 minutes just to take a walk outside. Why? Gold light. Gold light. Gold light. The sun, why is the sun worshipped by so many people, right? The Egyptians. It's the gold light. 30 minutes of the gold light. on you is awesome. Go sit in a chair and just feel it for a few minutes. All right? All of us have an ample power supply, but we leak it away with our bad habits, our worry, our negativity. And your soul refuels through good emotions. Okay? So find something to get happy and excited about. Okay? All right, here we go.
The more readings I did, the more I realized that the choices you make lower your life force, your light force. And when your light is dim, so too are the laws. Now, pay attention. When your system, come over here, when your system diminishes and you are seriously hemorrhaging, okay, so we're here, you're seriously hemorrhaging and you're making choices, you will start borrowing energy. Now, I'm going to add something here. What's the difference between fate and destiny in your life? What's the difference? You need your energy to energize certain choices. I'll give you an example. I need to heal something. I need to heal something that the ordinary world says is unhealable. What did you learn from all the great healers? Whoosh, nothing's unhealable. Nothing is unhealable. In fact, the dead can rise, so to speak. But that's a kairos matter, not ordinary stuff. Not ordinary. None of your whimpering, none of your crying, none of your beating up pillows with rubber hoses is going to get you to here. None of that stuff. No self-pity, no, oh my God, this shouldn't have happened to me. I don't want to, la 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 la. That's my response. You want to get here, it is a tough, empowered hall. It is pure light. And so what I've learned is you don't have enough light to make the journey. And so what happens is people don't even get it. They start plugging themselves in to other people's light sources or just the general psychic free radicals in the atmosphere. Now this is a great big huge thing to understand. It is great big huge. We generate psychic free radicals. Our individual body and the micro and macro. So all of our loose, thoughtless, careless, unconscious thoughts like this is crap and look at that person, all the negative stuff, my day is whatever. And believe me, we're not supposed to, we can't possibly all be like, I just want light-filled thoughts all day. It's nonsense. That's nonsense. But I oftentimes will say the prayer, don't let me do any harm today. And if I'm about to do big time harm, stop me, remind me, make me conscious of something. Don't let me do any harm. Little harm, but big, no. No. And so I have a constant prayer. Don't let me do any big harm today. Nothing. Keep me mindful, at least, of that. You gradually become mindful. You gradually become mindful. I know better than this. I know better than this. I can do better in this moment. You start taking your life by hours and then eventually by minutes. And it becomes a lifestyle. I can do better than this. And pretty soon you simply live at the better. And becoming light becomes effortless. So you know when you're slipping.
Moment by moment. Moment by moment. Okay, more pictures of the light, color. See that beautiful gold? I want you to get this gold. Beautiful gold. Find yourself a picture of beautiful gold. That helps power up the light. Correct. Correct. The color of the sun. Yeah. That's the color that heals the body. Okay? This color, the white, purple, blue, this is very popular too, but that's more for calming your mind, calming down, like chilling out. Where the gold actually physically, the gold is the gasoline, it's the fuel. Okay? All right? Now, we are coming to the end of our day, and we're going to close out with the most beautiful 10 minutes that you'll hear right now just to chill you out and have a beautiful evening. I want to bring someone up to the stage who's going to lead us in a wonderful 10-minute wind down. Many of you know him as our beautiful Paris Assadian's husband. But you may not know that he graduated from Loyola Marymount with a degree in psychology. He's been in the health and fitness world for 35 years. He spent 12 years splitting his time between the Muscular Dystrophy Association and the City of Hope. He's been teaching funds for research. He's been doing funds for research for many years. And in 2005, he started his own company called Try This Coaching. He's been teaching yoga for the past 20 years and holds many certifications in the health and fitness realms, including nutrition, personal training, massage, chi running, and he is a certified hypnotherapist. He primarily works with clients on a private basis, but he also teaches fitness classes in the West San Fernando Valley and the Conejo Valley areas. I'd like to welcome to the stage Steve Mackel. We're going to get your mic just a little closer.
Should be on now. All right.
All right, there you go.
Probably a little loud. All right. So quickly, I want you to think. So when I start coaching a person, I ask them some questions. The first question I ask them, are you in or are you in the way? And they need to answer that question first. You have to be in. And so just ask yourself, and actually, I've learned that phrase from a guy who was partying with me. He's like, Steve, are you in or are you in the way? And so I'm like, I'm in. The second thing that you really want to do is you want to create a pathway. And so you have to create the steps to get to where you want to go. And that's where I help a lot of people, is creating that. And then the third thing is that you need to commit to consistency. Consistency, the law of repetition, I mean, that is where it's at. If you're not going to be consistent, then forget about it. And there's an old saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And so it's the same thing. So if you want to change your nutritional habits, if you want to train your training, you just have to just pick one thing. Maybe it's only 10 minutes, 2 days a week to start. And that's how I help people get started in this. And basically, movement is medicine. So we're going to do 3 movements today. We're going to do grounding. We're going to do just a few sun salutations, since tomorrow's the solstice. And it's always planned to be on the solstice, this meeting, which I think is awesome. And then we're going to do some gathering and issuing, which is a Tai Chi exercise. So I need everybody to stand up.
Everyone stand up.
And then take off your shoes. And I really think you should be away from the tables, because so we can all come around here. We can have people in front. So the first thing is grounding. We've talked about it, I think, last year. But it's making a connection with your bare feet to the earth. So I'm going to visualize and pretend that this carpet is grass. And we just heard about nature. That's where I go, really, to get my energy back. But just anytime you can get during the day, just kind of barefoot in some dirt, in the sand, on some grass, would be awesome. So what I want everybody right now to do is I want you to just take 3 fingers and take your feet so they look like they're about 3 finger widths apart. And then I want you to rock onto the ball of the foot, rock on the heel, and then I just want you to spread the toes out and try to get equal pressure between the ball of the foot and the heel of the foot. And then just stop rocking. Right there, I want you to lock your knees and barely unlock them. From here, I'm going to teach you something in Kundalini Yoga. It's called Mula Bandha. So our Muladhara chakra, the energy comes in through our crown chakra and goes through all the chakras and usually just goes out. So what we want to do is we're going to create a lock, but this also creates pelvic stability, which is really good for any movement that you're doing. Help you sit up straighter. It'll help a lot of things. So you go down to the pelvic floor, the perineum. For women, it's like a Kegel exercise. For guys, the only way I can say it, it's like sucking the boys up and in. And so we go down there, and you go and you kind of bring your energy up. But this creates actually a bond. That's why it's called Bonda. And so the energy now comes in, and like a drum skin, that energy is able to shoot back up through the chakras. And then we create a throat lock, and the Kundalini energy just fires up all the different chakras. But we're only going to worry about this bottom one for the physical level right now. When you do this, you notice that actually your pelvis will level. Now, I want you to squeeze so high, so tight down there that you feel your butt cheeks just tighten up. That's a 10. I want you to see if you can release it to a 5 and just be engaged and not tight. So I always say no tight asses, right? Let's just be engaged. So engage that pelvic floor. Our feet are set. And what I want you to do now is take your hand to the base of the skull here, and I want you just to lift, lengthening the entire spine and neck like God had you on a string and she's pulling you up. Then I just take your shoulders to your ears, drop them, close your eyes, and just breathe for a second. Feel energy coming up through your feet into your entire body. Keep that Mula Bandha, that root lock there, just lightly engaged, and just let the energy start flowing. And then let's open our eyes. We're going to do some half sun salutations. We're only going to do a few just for the solstice. And this is a way in yoga that we would honor the sun, or a great way to wake up or just get moving. The first movement is we sweep our hands up. We inhale as we sweep our hands up. From right here, bend your knees. And with a flat back, let's just drop our hands to our knees for right now. And what I want you to do is take the shoulders from the ears. Make your head go towards wherever it is in the room, and then your tailbone moves the opposite way. We're going to just do a little cat-cow right here. So just round the low back and concave it, round it, concave it, round it, concave it, flatten it. Now I want you to just wag your tail. So just we get that sacrum loose, that lumbar spine is moving. And now keeping the knees bent, take a big inhale and slowly just slide down. If you can only get to your knees, that's fine. If you get to your shins, ankles, or floor, whatever appropriate for you. And then let the head go. Shake it, no. Maybe wag your tail a little more. And then right here, engage that root lock, that pelvic floor engagement with a flat back. Just bring your arms up and sweep up, inhaling in. Interlace the fingers, push up towards the ceiling, get a nice stretch. Point the fingers, and let's all go to our left. And now take that right shoulder, open it a little towards the ceiling, pull the shoulders down. So now the biceps are in line with the ears, and keep the pelvic floor engaged. And then inhaling, and then exhale over to the other side. Come back to center, big inhale. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Tadasana in prayer position. This is called mountain pose. And from here, we're going to do 2 more full sun or half sun salutations on the breath. So we're going to inhale up. Exhale, swan dive to wherever appropriate. Now take your hands just below the knees, shoulders away from the ears, flatten the back. We're not going to concave it or round it. Exhale, fold. And now engage pelvic floor, sweep up. And exhale, hands to heart. Let's do it again. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, swan dive. Hands on the shins, flat back, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale. And now fold down and sweep all the way up. Inhale. Hands to heart. Exhale. Last one. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, swan dive. Hands to shin. Inhale, up, flat back. Exhale, fold. And once again, engaging flat back, sweep up. And hands to heart. Before we go to the last one, my story is that when I was 44, I herniated a disc in my low back, L5S1. 12 millimeter herniation completely blew out the annulus. I just changed jobs into becoming a full-time coach, and I thought my dream was wrecked, but I wouldn't let it, sidetrack me. I had 2 doctors said I could never really run again, especially as a profession. Since then, I can't tell you how many thousands of miles I've run. Probably 40 marathons, Ironman, all sorts of stuff. So people, if you have a bad back, there's still a lot, or bad knees, had those too, you can actually continue to do stuff. You just have to be careful and just go step by step really easy. The last one we're going to come in is a horse stance, which is wider, about shoulder width apart. And I want you to keep engaged in that pelvic floor. I want you to take your hands, and I want you to take the left hand over the right. I want you to bend the knees a little, and we come right down to, in Tai Chi, we call this our Dantian, and it's just about where that second chakra is. And what we're going to do is we're going to inhale. As we inhale, we're going to bring our hands up. And as we exhale, we're going to turn it over and just push it out. Inhale, come up. Exhale, push it out. Now, hands open, let's breathe for a second. As we inhale up, we're going to say, I flood my body cells with energy. And as we exhale and we issue, we're going to issue love to the room and to the world. So inhaling up, energy fills my body cells. Issue love. Close your eyes, see it happening. Inhale up energy, exhale love. Inhale up energy, exhale love. Last one, inhale up energy, exhale love. Bring your feet together, shake it out. Thank you very much for allowing me that few minutes. And if I can help in any way, let me know. Namaste.
So much. I appreciate that. And I have Steve's cards, which will be in your packages tomorrow. Steve, thank you for leading us in this closing ceremony. Tomorrow morning, we're up for the next half. Breakfast, 8 o'clock sharp. 9 o'clock we start. Have a wonderful night tonight. Start focusing on positive, wonderful emotions. We'll see you tomorrow morning, everybody. Thank you.